Tuesday night after a huge weekend after upsetting Ole Miss. What a time that was. And I think a lot of us are still enjoying that moment. It was just one of those times that we would just look back from years from now and say, I remember what it felt like when we went down to Ole Miss and beat those guys. So welcome into the show. I forgot again. Sorry about that. I got like so much going on. But before I get started, I just wanted to say this right here, right fast. Um, the next possible live won't be until October the 10th, which is next Thursday. I'm leaving town in a few hours. So I'm going on vacation for 11 days, something like that. But I have like so much anxiety. This is the longest I've ever been on a vacation while working since I left the military in 2014. So like I have like just anxiety about being off from work for so long. So guys, and I'm going by myself at that too. So one of the countries that I'm going to, I already feel like a lot of anxiety. So it looks like national champions. You get the first one in the house tonight from YouTube. Thank you so much for joining in. Wendell, I see you too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Man, I think we're all still living the excitement. But yeah, the next possible live will be October the 10th, next Thursday night. So I appreciate you guys' patience and stuff like that. So I will be out. This is, I guess you guys could say this is my bye week. But yeah, this is just something I wanted to put out the first part of the video because most people that go back and watch it really don't watch it very long anyway. So if I put it out at the end of the video, people won't. People don't watch the whole video, so they will still be texting me and asking me if there's a show. But yeah, that's what's going on for next Thursday. Okay, um, so anyway, man, I'm still pumped up. It won't be a long show tonight. I got my suitcase in there on the bed. I got everything laid out. I'm just ready to go to the airport and everything, but I'm still dealing with some anxiety and like stuff like that. I don't know how to go. I don't know how to go on vacation for long periods of time. So thank you guys. Hey, Chris, I see you. Thank you for joining, Dave. Dav, Kentucky. Thanks for once again for joining in. Man, I don't know about you guys, man, but I'm still excited about the Ole Miss win. And I just dropped a video. If you guys didn't see already, I'm talking about our next three ball games and just how important it is. So please go check that out. It'll be at the end of this video. This video right here won't be about. We'll be live for about 30 minutes or so. I couldn't not do a show knowing that I wasn't going to be that I was going to be out for a while. And I got to spend time with the people, baby. I got to spend time with the family. So I had to do at least something tonight just to kind of break it up or whatever. But anyway, I'm happy to be here tonight. How are you guys feeling post Ole Miss, man? More so, how are you guys feeling for the football team? Like a lot of people after the South Carolina game, people were just pretty much checked out. And then after the bad play calling, the bad how it all ended with Georgia and like how we didn't go for it on fourth, and now we take care of business like we supposed to against Ohio. Then we go into Ole Miss and we take care of that win and we get that major, major, major upset on the road in Oxford. So thanks for Kentucky football. While it looked real daunting for a moment, it looks like if we could just take this right here, if we could just take this game that we just played, and if we could just continue to build off of it, I think we can still have something special this year. It just depends on which version of Kentucky decides that they want to show up. Was the moment so high that it just took everything out of them and they used up everything in their tanks, and now we may just limp the rest of the year, holding on to this one big victory, or will this make UK hungry? Will these guys go out here and says we have what it takes to win some ball games, and not just at home, but we got what it takes to go on the road and hopefully upset some teams. So I really hope that we use this game against Ole Miss and we take it and we move it. We move in such a way that we believe in each other, that we believe in the program, that we believe in each other, that we can go out here and we can still have a very, very successful year. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. for sure. But I want to hear what you guys have to say tonight. I want to hear how you guys are really enjoying the ripple effect or the aftermath of of what went down. So, man, I'm just yeah. Thank you guys for coming in. What's up? Let's go, Dustin. Thank you so much for joining in. I see you. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. I'm just sitting here, man, and I'm just like, even when I made the video that I just posted, here on YouTube. So please go check it out as well. It's about 15 minutes long, not very long. I was just sitting around and I'm just really trying to think about the possibilities of what the Kentucky team can look like moving forward, the possibilities of what we can do uh, moving forward for the rest of the year. I always have to go back though and ask which version of Kentucky are we going to get. We definitely don't want the version that we've seen against South Carolina, that's for sure. And we definitely want to see a whole lot more of what we've seen at Ole Miss. And I tell you, man, our defense is on point. Our defense is good. I like what our offense is starting to do. Our offense is starting to really come together. We still got some issues with maybe holding the ball too long. But at the end of the day, I'd rather take a sack, punt the ball, even though we don't have a great punter. I would still much rather take the sack, punt the ball instead of throwing interceptions and knowing anything can happen. So the last two games, if I'm correct, we haven't thrown any interceptions. Matter of fact, did we even throw an interception against Georgia? I can't even remember. Can someone tell me that? I guess I can go back and look it up right fast. But I I can't remember. I can't remember if we actually threw an interception against Georgia or not. I don't think we did. And if that's the case, then that's three straight games that um, we have not thrown an interception. So UK don't have a game this week, so I got to go back. I just can't remember if they actually threw an interception or not. I need to go back and see Kentucky. If somebody can help me on that, let's see schedules. Georgia, where's that at? The Georgia game. I know we threw one against South Carolina. Box score, Vanderbilt. No, so it's three consecutive games that Kentucky has not thrown an interception. So I think the Cats could become a top 10 team, but there are too many losses too early. Hey, Hillbilly, thanks for joining. I mean, I mean, I I I just hate, and this is just my belief. I hate that we overlooked South Carolina because I know that's exactly what we did. We was at home. They just barely beat Old Dominion. Things just wasn't looking together. They couldn't throw the ball. The quarterback was Urkel with the glasses, and it's just I just think we just went into that ball game and just thinking that we was just going to go in and we were just going to just dominate South Carolina from the beginning to the end. And we got popped in the mouth and we were surprised, everybody from the coaches to the players, and we just never recovered. So even though that's a bad loss, I hope that's the loss that we needed early in the year that says, okay, get our radars up, come to play football every single week. And you would think we would know that. You would think that we would come in and that we would respect every single opponent, no matter how they did the week prior. But we didn't, and the coaches didn't get them ready. The coaches didn't keep them laser locked in like they were supposed to be, and we got smacked in the face really really hard and early, and we never recovered. But I think that was the loss that we needed. And even though we lost to Georgia, that Georgia loss was totally different than the South Carolina loss. So we needed that loss against South Carolina that says, okay, are you done playing now? Are you ready to get serious about having a decent, good year if possible? And I think that was the wake up call. And you can see because every game, even offensive wise, even though we haven't really looked that good offensive wise, you can see we're taking those small baby steps each ball game to help us get better and better. And when you can go out and when you can be a Brock and when you can play like you did against Ole Miss, and when you know that you're capable of making that long pass, that long bomb, and then when you take Barry and Brown, who I'm capable of going to running and going to get the ball and then getting some yards after the catch. When you Dane Key, who can go two consecutive games against Ohio, and Ole Miss and says I can play high again at this level. It wasn't a fluke in my freshman year. I can still play football. When you take all of that into consideration, Kentucky has a team that can go out here and compete. Can they win these ball games? That's still to be seen. I know one thing. I have never been so excited and so pumped up about playing Vandy. And that sounds crazy, but we all know somebody who watches the show all the time. So, and he's 100% convinced that they're going to come in. And the last time they was in Vanderbilt was in Kentucky, they won. They left with a W. I don't want Kentucky to. I don't want Vandy to walk out in 2 weeks with a win over Kentucky. That's pitiful. So if Kentucky wants to be considered someone who's really taking the next steps, or at least trying to, then that Vandy game, we have to find a way to beat those guys. It just has to get done. Dave said looks like Kentucky has been noticed after the Ole Miss game. Many other sportscasters have edified Kentucky football. Now, and that's good, but I hope they stay humble, but I hope they stay hungry. Like, okay, you went down to Ole Miss and you won. Beautiful. Perfect. You did what many, many people across the nation said was impossible for Kentucky football to do. Enjoy it. I guess it's kind of good that we have a bye week for two reasons. We got a bye week because we need to get healthy. And two, we coming off that high win. Can we come down off of that win, get level-headed again, and then go play football? And I hope that's what happens. And I hope just because we went down and was able to beat Ole Miss, I hope that they don't come in and overlook Vandy and just says, well, we beat Ole Miss on the road. There's no way we're going to let Vandy come into Kroger Field and win a football game. I hope that's not the case. I hope these guys are really locked in and really, really ready to play football. And if they do, then hopefully we can get that W. And it feels odd as a true Kentucky fan because people go back and watch my videos. I called that Ole Miss game weeks ago. I said we're beating Ole Miss. I said I don't know about anything else, but looking at Ole Miss's schedule, who they played prior to Kentucky, and the hype around Kentucky, especially their defense, I said to myself, we're going to beat Ole Miss. But I still hope Kentucky comes in and they humble themselves and they're still able to look at Vanderbilt and says these guys are coming in here to play. They always play us close. We got to find a way to beat these guys. And it feels odd saying that, being a Kentucky fan versus playing a Vandy team. So it is what it is, but we definitely have to come in and locked in, ready to go, because these next three ball games, Vandy, which currently is 2-2, Florida is 2-2, and Auburn is 2-3. So what are we going to do, Wildcats? Which version of the Cats is going to show up? Which one's going to win? That's what we got to see, is who's going to win. Clyde says, hey, Clyde, thanks for coming in. Hey, Fee, I thank you. I see you as well, too. Clyde says, I see your soul when you was talking about the ACC, and the ACC is better than the SEC basketball. We gonna see. I did do a video on. I just kind of gave my thoughts on the SEC ACC challenge this year, and of course everyone knows that Kentucky has Clemson, and of course I had to pick Kentucky for that. But I wasn't biased just for the SEC. Actually, I'm not sure if it was even split down the middle. I can't remember what the end total was, but it's for me to go on here and say that the SEC is going to win every single ball game in that tournament is foolish. Is foolish. The top three games, at least. I know the only real. Well, we'll go over it. Watch the video. It's called the ACC SEC Challenge 2024. I got a video out there. Please go check it out. But I mean, it's gonna be good. It really is. Controlling the clock, making Ole Miss play our game, completely took the wind out of the sail. It took everything out. That was everything. The crowd and everything from those who was there, who was talking about it. They basically was like, hey, there was no threat from the crowd in a sense because Kentucky kept the ball for so long. Now, Ole Miss they got a good solid defense, and they was getting after the quarterback. And I tell you, there was a few moments you was just like, oh my goodness, dude! Like I was so stressed out. I was on the end of my seat and everything. But it was tied. Okay, Oh, you can't tell everybody, Clyde. You gotta let people go watch it. But I appreciate it. So I mean, as far as that ACC SEC video, I wasn't biased. I tried to really look at it a little. I mean, I didn't go really too in depth. I'm not a big numbers guy, so I just kind of based off what you did last year, maybe who's coming back or who left. But I think it's going to be really fun this year to actually see the ACC SEC challenge. That's for sure. Kentucky has no easy games ahead. I believe Kentucky football knows what they need to do now to win. I hope we know what we need to do, and that's key. That I really hope we understand we know what to do. I hope we stay humble because when we look at these next three games, and I won't really go into it. I did just post a video right before I did this. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea or a bad idea, but I uploaded another video about our next three games going forward. So please go check that out as well. Also, if you're just joining, I just throw this right here back up. If you're just joining and you didn't see the beginning of somewhere, the throw this up right fast. The next possible live will be October the 9th. I leave in a few hours from my vacation, so I know Tuesday this Thursday I won't be, of course, and then Tuesday I'll be flying to the next destination. So the next live will be October the 10th, if it's possible, depending on my Wi-Fi. Okay, so I just want to put that out there for if you're just watching. So there you go. So it was funny when you said about Duke, man. So I think I remember what I said, but I'm not sure. So maybe I got to go back and watch it too as well. But yes, go check out that video. Appreciate you watching it, Clyde. It means a lot to me. Thanks so much. Great win over Ole Miss, no doubt. But the next few games would really reveal who this team is. You got to win the games you're supposed to win if you truly want to be respectful. And that is exactly what I talked about in my video that I just uploaded. It's called "How Vital Is to Win? How Vital Is It to Beat Vandy, Florida, and Auburn?" So that's the name of the video. It'll be at the end of this video as well. I'll post it up. You got to, yep. So hey, Big Mike, how about Dane Key, man? I talked about him, and I just mentioned him as well. Is that you take? I'm a big guy on building confidence. You might not go into the first game of the year and having a lot of confidence, and you might stumble a little bit. But sometimes for me, it only takes that one game. And even though it was a game against Ohio, it doesn't matter sometimes. It just sometimes how people say in basketball, people are having an off night shooting. Get to the foul line, get a free throw, see the ball go through the nets, and then maybe that can get you started. And even though Ohio wasn't a competitor like Ole Miss, or Georgia, or South Carolina, sometimes you just need to see if you still got it, even though it might be a smaller opponent. And once you see that, you can just go on the road. So you saw what Dane Key did against Ohio. You saw what he did, what he came out and did against Ole Miss. He kept that up. He looks in the mirror now and says, "I can play. I'm not. I'm that dude that came in as a freshman that killed it. I can still play football at a high level." And Brock has been going 3 games now. We had our interceptions against Southern Miss. We had interceptions against South Carolina. No interceptions against Georgia. No interceptions against Ohio. No interceptions against Ole Miss. We've taken some sacks. We've taken a lot of sacks, but we're not giving but we're not having turnovers. We're causing turnovers, and finally against Ole Miss, we got turnovers that went our way. But I think every game, these guys are finding a way to build more and more confidence. And Brock got sacked 6 times, I guess it was against Ole Miss, but he got back up and kept going. He said, "I can still do this," even though he's been hit. He's been coming. The guys have been coming from all types of directions. Guess what he did? He just got up and kept playing. And when you do that against Ole Miss, your confidence just builds. I'm going to get hit, but that's okay. That's what we call football. It's going to happen. I hope not as much as it did against Ole Miss, but it's going to happen. So hopefully he can build on that. Hopefully he can come out against Vandy and says, my confidence level is let's see. You said the camera crazy be jumping up and down and be screaming. Yeah. So okay. So uh, yeah, Kentucky has no easy game. Great win over. It was funny when you said about Duke fans. So, I mean, thanks for promoting that video for me, Clyde. I really, really appreciate it. I think that, like I said, I think the ACC SEC challenge this year is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of newcomers, and I just look forward to seeing what the outcome is. And I'm going to be wrong about some of those games, but you got to watch it to see who I think is probably most likely going to be the best ball game. I think, and it wasn't Kentucky and Clemson. If I'm, if I'm, if I was just being unbiased, I think the best ball game in the SEC ACC tournament is not going to be Kentucky and Clemson. It's another game that's going to be the best. Next three are must wins. Next three are must wins. We really do, and I just hope that first of all, that we take it one game at a time, but we respect each opponent, and we don't get ahead of ourselves and look at their body of work and says, "Well, look what they do. These guys are pretty horrible." No, these guys are more than capable. They have enough talented players, I think, that they can go out there and they can win. So we just our team has just got to respect those guys, and we just got to come out and we just got to play football up to a level that is good enough to beat these guys. Because I think we got the team. I think we got the players, of course. Hopefully, big. We always come on here and we criticize. We always come on here and we criticize um, the coaches all the time. So now we got to give the coaches their props. We got to be able to say that. We got to be able to say, "Hey, man, our coaches came in here and they played great ball. I mean, and they coached a great game. Gutsy call by Stoops. Gutsy call by Stoops. Only if he had that against Georgia too, maybe things would be so much different now. We would definitely be if we'd have went for it and got it and had to find a way to win that ball game. And our kicker, we got a kicker. So Stoops now. Let's just Clyde, why you telling the whole thing for, big guy? I want people to go watch the video. That's what I want people to go do. I want people to go watch the video. Not I don't want you to. I appreciate it, Clyde, but I don't want you to spoil it for them. I want you to go see which one is actually is. You already told now. But thanks for watching, Clyde. But I just hope that we can come out. Coach Stoops and Brock have taught me to keep cool early in the season. It takes a while for a new offense to gel, and I think that's what we're going, and also throwing in a mixture of a Wimstat as well too. Um, I think letting him take a little bit of the bulk of the hits and everything. I think that helps out Brock as well too. I mean, Brock was getting beat up that game, man. Our line didn't necessarily do horrible, but I don't know, man. When we needed them the most, and that was that one play that we was able to get the ball out and get it to Berrien, then I guess everything else that they did just kind of is obsolete. Like, don't worry about it, big guys. You guys had an okay day, I guess. But on that one play that we needed you the most, you did it. Big shout out to the special teams. Man, those guys blocked for the kicker, gave that guy enough time to where he could kick the ball. I mean, that's crucial, man. That's really, really crucial. And sometimes we overlook that. Sometimes we just look at the kicker and the holder for being real vital to, what I'm saying, to something like that. But we got to remember that those guys up front, I mean, especially in a close game like it was, it ain't like, well, the game is out of reach. We don't need to really rush and whatever. No, these guys are really wanting to block the ball. So we definitely got to give credit. We definitely got to give credit to all our special teams for what they did, because it has to be special teams, offense and defense, that goes out and wins ball game. I'm not really sure what's going on with our punter. He's not all that great. We was kind of hoping for a better punter, but we gotta swap the field more than that. And sometimes we give up too much field because we don't have very good punts. Hey, Mike, I think we did Florida a favor by beating Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin goes to Florida next season. I guess so. I mean, their fan base is the same way. These guys are the number one offense in the nation. These guys are putting up points, and then they lose to Kentucky, and now they got fans. Fire Lane Kiffin. So everything that we're doing, everybody else does to their coach too. So people want to say, "Oh, Kentucky fans are just erratic, and these guys are just crazy." And these no, everybody around the country is doing the same thing. It's happening. Fire the coach. He can't coach. Like how you gonna lose to this opponent? You don't do nothing like that. So because of that, it's a ripple effect, and it's Kentucky's not the only team in the nation that has fans that will call for their coach's head after a major loss. I'm not going to tell no more. I mean to. So it's Auburn game is sneaky. I mean, it is, and I hope that even though like they got a game this week, I think it is. No, actually, that they might have a bye too as well. So I have to go check to see if they got a bye. But I mean, by the time we get to those guys, they could either be four. They can either be 4-3. I mean, 3-3, or they can actually just be on a bye. So I'm not sure if Auburn has a bye, but we played them in 3 weeks or whatever. How about that, Diego? And see, that's the guy, Hillbilly. Thank you. That's the guy that Vandy Chris is putting so much faith in. That's going to come to Kentucky and that's going to beat us. That's the guy. And I mean, like I said it earlier. I think Vandy got a well improved quarterback. They got a guy who wins. They got a guy who has swag. They got a guy who carries an attitude, and he's not afraid to come into Kentucky and find a way to upset us. They're just not. I mean, he's just not. And I think our defense, once again, the same thing that Ole Miss found out. I like that saying. I can show you better than I can tell you. So when he lines up across on an SEC defense like Kentucky, a top 10 defense, and you line up across from us and you see how good we are, we'll see what happens. We will. I mean, we're not Georgia State, and they beat Vandy. So I'm just saying, we gonna bring it. We gonna bring the house for sure. Oxidine is coming on. You finally hear. You don't hear his name a whole lot when people talk about him, but you're starting to hear his name being called on TV a lot each and every week. He's starting to really make a name for himself to being a playmaker for J.J. Weaver's he's having a year this year. We already know Deion Walker was. We didn't even have Harris in that ball game. So we got things and we got people that was out of the ball game that's supposed to be major parts of who we are this year as a football team, and some of these guys are not even playing, and we found a way to still win the ball game. If that in itself is not comforting and encouraging, then I don't really know what it is. If we can get everybody back healthy, even getting Chip back, don't know if he's going to start, don't know what he can give us, but maybe he can give us that third dimension. We can have a 3D running back there doing our thing. So, and then you add Wimstead in there, and then you add Brock, who needs to slide a little bit more than what he do, but he put his body out there on the line against Ole Miss, and I can applaud him for that. Doing that against somebody like Ohio, don't do that. Don't throw your body out there on the line. But I understand the implications of beating Ole Miss. So yes, you lay it all out there and you leave it on the field, and he did just that against even. So he took hits, he got sacked. He still kept playing, and he wanted you. You could tell I got something to prove in this ball game, and no matter what it takes for me to do to win a ball game, I'm willing to do that for my team, and we saw that on display when they played Ole Miss. So I definitely look forward to seeing these guys play Vandy. But let's get healthy. Let's come down off the high. Let's clean up all the burnt couches in Lexington. Let's bring ourselves back down, to earth, and let's see if we can sell. Let's see if we can play some of our best some really great football moving forward. And if we can get these wins if we can get these next wins going into Tennessee, that's a pretty solid football game, man. It is, and our confidence that we can. I mean, if we can beat Vandy, which sounds crazy. If we can knock off Florida again, and we can find a way to beat Auburn at home and going into Tennessee with that record, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of fans are still going to say, well, it's still at Tennessee, and I think it's going to be at night, and the lights, and 100,000 fans, and let's just take this loss and let's just go about our way. No, 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 no. Tennessee, but that's the thing about Tennessee is though Tennessee has already been tested by a good defense. So and Tennessee, but Oklahoma slowed Tennessee down drastically from what they was doing against those other cupcake teams. So I think if the Wildcats come out and play, I think if they show up the way that we hope they will, I think if we see what we saw against Ole Miss, there's no reason why Kentucky can't go on and still continue to have a much better year as we go along. But I'm a big guy when it comes to saying take one game at a time. Go ahead and enjoy this right here for a couple more days. This Ole Miss, but let's come down off that high and let's get back and let's lock back in because we still got a lot of football and still there's a lot of fans out there that said, oh well, Kentucky just got lucky. They just got a couple of calls that went their way. So that's it's still Kentucky football. So let's change that narrative for the rest of the year and let's be somebody. Let's be a team that the hype from other media is warranted. Like let's don't go into Vandy and people are like, well, yep, I told you that's just Kentucky. It is what it is. They let Vandy come in and beat them. Can't do that, man. You just can't, and you really can't. You really can't do that based off basketball season. It starts this month. We start doing big time basketball activities this month. So if you want to keep the fan base engaged in football, you better beat Vandy. Because if you better. I thought about something. Sorry about that. If you want to keep the fans engaged in football as long as possible, you better win this game against Vandy. Because if you don't, people's already excited about basketball. They may check out. Even though we just beat Ole Miss, they may check out. So I think this Vandy game is huge. And it always sounds funny when you make it sound like beating Vandy is like the best thing in the world. But I think in this situation, I think it really is. I think if you want to be known as a team who's taking the next steps, continue to climb it, then these are the kind of games that I feel, my opinion, is that you just have to win and you got to find a way to beat Vandy. And if we can do that, then I think we're going to be okay. But we still got rest of the schedule, rest of the season, and we just got to see what's going on and what's happening. That's for real. Mark, I see you. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to be 6-2 going to Knoxville. I believe in this team. If you don't believe we can win any given Saturday, then jump off the bandwagon. Go Big Blue. I mean, hey, son of a gun, thanks for joining in. I mean, you have to have that mindset. Like, you have to just believe that Kentucky has what it takes. Like, it's almost like eating your favorite meal and then eating your worst meal. Like, I love steak. I don't really care too much about bologna. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you gotta, once you get to that Ole Miss win, nobody wants to see you eat bologna again. We want to see you keep eating steak and add some lobster to that. You know what I'm saying? Which would be like a go down to Tennessee and get a win. Or you know what I'm saying? Or add, the Vandy, Florida, and Auburn. Add some shrimp to go along with your steak. You know what I'm saying? Keep adding to that. But we don't want to see you eat a big sirloin steak and then go all the way down and eat a piece of bologna. And I eat bologna, so no disrespect to that. But I mean, but it sort of is what it is if you understand my analogy. So we got to stay up there for as long as possible, and we stay up there by first and foremost taking care of and beating Vandy. We gotta take care of Vandy, and we gotta make sure that that we don't let them come in here again 2 years, 2 times in a row of them visiting Kentucky and them guys over in our visits and locker room celebrating. And we definitely don't want their quarterback peeing on our logo or nothing like that. We don't want him going out there messing up our logo in the middle of the field. So if we don't want that, then guess what we got to do? We got to beat them. Otherwise, we can't say nothing. So Kentucky's got to beat Vandy, and I think that's very important. Roger, thank you for joining in. I see you as well. Thank you so much. But I mean, 6-2 going into Knoxville is not a crazy thought. It's not a crazy thought at all. And I wasn't the first one to say it. Mark Hurl said it first, not me. I didn't say it. He said it. So I'm not the only fan that feels like the possibility of going out there is just one game at a time. and can we show up and play football? Because if you don't think Florida wants to beat Kentucky in the swamp this year, then you're crazy. Because believe me, they want to beat Kentucky in the swamp for sure. So we got to go down there and we got to change the narrative. And we got to say, okay, we're back. This is the best Bandy team since 2013. Their quarterback is really good. They're really good, and that's why that's why I'm stressing we cannot let Vandy come in and beat us. This quarterback is going to come in and he is going to play ball. And I think they got a DB CJ Taylor. I'm not sure if he's a linebacker, a corner, or what, but he's looking for it to play in Kentucky as well too. He's been talking a little smack about Kentucky. So, let's just go out and let's just do what we do. You know, let's just go out and let's just play hard nosed Kentucky defense, the signature of Mark Stoops. Let's just go out and play a game. Let it all hang out now. What? Come on, man. As Kevin Hart says, say it with your chest. What I'm saying? So we definitely just got to go out there. So, what I'm saying? We just got to go out there. We got to just know what we're doing. Jeff, thanks for joining the show. I see you as well. Me must. Nas says we must bust some kneecaps against Candy. We got to go out here and just get it done. That's I don't know any other way to look at it. We just got to go out here and we just got to get it done. And I think it starts of course, on the defensive side. And you could tell with the defense playing the way they was, it just did something to the offense. The offense said that we're not quitting. We're not giving up. We finally got that monkey off our back of scoring a touchdown in the SEC this year. We finally did it. So, it's a lot of things that went down in that ball game. And when you really just sit down and just kind of get away from the emotions of it and just kind of just look at it level-headed, you can just say to yourself, this is a Kentucky team that if they bring it week in and week out, like our defense is beautiful. And I don't want to be biased. We still got some stuff in the secondary that we need to work on. We gave up that long touchdown to Harris, but Harris is a pretty good receiver as well too. But then it's like I'm not sure if our guy fell down. He let that tight end catch that big pass over down the middle of the field to keep the drive going for Ole Miss. I don't know what happened. So we got some things that we got to work on. Watch the film and just say to yourself, I got to be in a better position next time. I got to chat with my teammates. I got to let them know where people's at. We can't have that miscommunications. That could have been one play that really came back to really haunt us. So if we just show up and play each week, man, I just feel like Kentucky may have the opportunity to do something special and maybe have the opportunity to go down and be 6-2 when we play Tennessee. I think a mobile out of pocket scrambling on the run quarterback gives Kentucky problems so far this season. Do they have a scrambling running back in Vandy? Yeah, we do. I think we do. But long as our defensive ends they don't crack down or they don't bite too fast and they stay at home. And our defensive ends, if they stay disciplined, I don't know why we don't have enough. I don't know why we don't have enough on the outside that we can push everything back to the middle of the field where all the crowd is at. So I think that's a big thing. But we just got to come out with confidence, man. And I hope that this is the game that we needed, that we really needed to says, look, man, our defense is really good. Like, don't just look at the numbers. Just look at what we're doing. Look who we got. Deion Walker is just causing havoc. All those guys up in there are just causing havoc in the middle of the field. So everything's coming together for Kentucky, man. Everything's coming together at the right time. And just when we thought that the season was just going to be a hot mess, it was just going to be crazy, you know what? It's okay. Like, we went down and we got the Ole Miss win. So let's see if we can build on this, and let's see if we can continue to go. I think that completion on 4th-7 is a top 5 play of the Stoops. Oh, for real. Like, it was a gutsy move. But I don't think he would have. If he would have punted that ball, he wouldn't have heard the last of it. So, but as he said, the analytics, what I'm saying, says that we should have punted that ball that time. But we went for it. So, like I said, we always give Stoops a hard time. when we feel like he don't make the right decisions or when he's playing too conservative. So I think it's very important to, if we as fans are going to, I think if as fans, if we're going to give our coach a hard time when we feel like he's not aggressive enough, then I think it's so important that we verbally and that we outwardly show our support when he makes decisions like this, and just show him that, hey man, we appreciate that move, that bold move that you made, and it's not going to go. It's definitely not going to go unnoticed, and we got to understand that as fans, is that we got to be there, and so we can't just be quick to. We got to give credit to where credit is due, and I think the coaches this weekend, I think they all let it hang out, and they all made it, and they all did the best they could, and that was good enough to get a win. Donald K. Wood, thank you so much for joining from Harlan County. Appreciate you. Thank you. It means a lot to me for joining. We must. I keep saying that. From Nah, we must bust some kneecaps against Vandy. Look, I'm not advocating to go out and hurt nobody. I'm just saying, making sure that they know that they in Kentucky and that we gonna bust some heads. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Don't bite my head off. I'm just a messenger. Please don't. Please don't bite my head off. So need 50 likes on the YouTube for my. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, Roger. I really sit back and I really think about the asking for likes and asking for subscribers, and I know that's just a part of being on YouTube. And you're asking for, hey, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I don't know, man. I think I'm at the point where it's just like, and I appreciate it, Roger. Thank you so much. I think I'm at the point where now it's just like, you know what? If people want to like the video, good job. If people want to subscribe to the channel, good job. Because looking at the analytics every day and seeing people unsubscribe and seeing like 2 or 3 likes on a video or whatever, that mentally gets to you. It really does, because it really makes you second guess yourself. Like, like maybe, maybe this, maybe this ain't for me. Maybe I should give this up. But you do this because you enjoy the time that you get to spend with other people, especially people who enjoy what you like or love, which is UK. So this is why I do this, because I love this. So I'm trying to get away from seeing the numbers. I'm trying to get away from seeing the subscribers, and I'm just trying to be in the present for those who are here. And I appreciate those who always go back and watch the replay or whatever, a like, a comment, or whatever. But at the end of the day, people are going to, people are going to like what they want to. People are going to watch what they want to. So I'm trying my best not to spend my whole video asking people to like, but I appreciate you guys, because you guys always really advocate for me, for people to like the video and like stuff like that. So it means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much as well. So I'm seeing new faces in here. So I wanted to throw this up again, just so people know. Next possible live will be October the 10th, as well. So because I leave in a few hours for vacation, and I know these next couple of days my Wi-Fi ain't probably gonna be all that great. So I just want to put that out there, that next possible live will be October the 10th, and I'll put this up right before I end the show as well. So thank you guys, I appreciate it. But yeah, we just got to. What's your best guess on what the line will be on the Candy game? Well, UK is going to be favorites, that's for sure. And I mean, Vandy, only because Vandy has such a good quarterback, the defense actually shows up and plays this year. Um, mm, maybe 12, maybe 12 points. And I don't know if that's low or too high. So you guys can answer that question too. What would the line be on it? But at this point, I just want to, I style points and making us look good as far as maybe getting ranked would be really wanting to blow them out. But at this particular point, I just want to see UK win the ball game, because every game that we have is not going to be a pushover, and Vandy is not going to come in here and just lay down. It's not the same Vandy team that we played in the past, and these guys, they really want to play. And we got to keep in mind that the last time these guys played at Kroger Field, they upset us, and I don't want to see that again. So I'm concerned about, can we win by at least 1 point? So if we do, but if I had to guess, maybe because of what we just did and playing at home, 15 sounds about right, and I hope we cover. I really hope we cover that as well too. Um, I don't bet, so I know a lot of people place bets and stuff like this. So I hope they win their money. But at this point, let's just 7.5 is. See what I'm saying? So I think we all kind of have our little. I think we all kind of have our little range of line. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, if we win the ball game, I think everyone's going to be happy. But I guess if you had to ask for a line, maybe about 11 or 12 points, I would say against Vandy, because we at home. I mean, and it depends on injuries. I mean, it's so much that goes into play with this. You got to look at injuries, who's playing, the momentum. If Vandy goes out here and loses this weekend, you know what I'm saying? So which they will. So they're going to lose against Alabama because I think that's who they play. So they're going to get destroyed at home against Alabama, rightfully so. So it's just a lot of things that kind of go into play, injuries and like stuff like that. So I think around 11 and 12 sound like a pretty good number. I don't believe it'll be 12. We're not known for scoring that many points against SEC teams. See, that's a good point right there. You got to take that into consideration as well too. I'm hoping I'm hoping that because we finally got that monkey off our back and we was able to go down and actually beat Ole Miss, maybe that's going to spark something within our offense and says, okay, we can play with the best teams in the nation. We can play with those guys. We can put up a little points against a really good defense like Ole Miss. Um, so why can we can't go out here and maybe put up some points at home against Vandy? So we have to see how that goes. So definitely that's going to be interesting as well too. I don't bet, so sometimes I don't really understand all that, maybe like I should. But I know one thing for sure: we beat Ole Miss, and we need to go beat Vandy for sure. Call it what you want to, but I know that for sure. We need to go win that ball game as well. So we should have a few guys. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna pop up in a minute. 50, let me see this right here. Son of a gunner says we should have a few guys back come game time, and thankful we get a week to get everybody healthy. And I think that's why this. Hey, thanks, Son of a gunner. I think for that. I think that's why this bye week is so good. And I really hope that we use this to come down off the high of beating Ole Miss, get level headed again, and become hungry and stay humble during this bye time and get ready for Vandy and don't overlook these guys just because we just beat Ole Miss and these guys are getting ready to get a boat race against Alabama this week. So I hope Alabama beats some guys by 100. But anyway, I don't want to be disrespectful. But yeah, I hope they win. I hope they get beat by 100 against Bama. Bama should have their second team in um, by the end of the first quarter. That's for sure. I'm going to predict Carter Bay bust a 50-yard run against Vandy. The guy can, hey man, the guy's good, man, and his confidence is building. I Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys secretly think Sumo is like, man, I hope Chip is out another game? I want him to get better. But I hope Chip is out another game because I really think Sumo is he got his legs up under him. He's getting a lot of carries, but he said, look, man, this is my opportunity. I might not get another chance. We don't know how good Chip is really going to be. So if Chip comes in, he finally gets healthy, and he comes in the game, and he's a Benny Snell, or if he's a Rodriguez, do I see the field very much anymore? So while the getting is getting, I'm gonna get it, and he's getting it right now, and he's definitely holding it down. That's for sure. If we win out, we could be in the college football playoffs. Man, that would be. See, sometimes you gotta dream big. Um, Mark says if Stoops would play with nothing to lose as we did against Ole Miss, this team has a lot of potential, no doubt. We just got to go out there and say, look, man, Kentucky football. If we lose, the fan base is going to be mad, but everybody else will just say, well, that's just Kentucky football. But if we win, it's endless possibilities, and I hope that's what we do. This win is one of my favorites ever. It's right up there with the Florida game that broke the streak, and the year that we beat the Cardinals with Lamar during his first year. Good, hey man, this is a big win for a lot of people. I know a lot of more mature people who have been following UK for years and years and years. They would say that although this is a big win, it's not the biggest win. But for some people who's younger, who's been watching UK much younger, a lot less time than those guys, then they only maybe remember stuff like the Florida, the Lamar, and games like this as being like the best of their time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's key when people start saying that this right here was the best for them. We got to keep in how old they are. You know, when did they start following UK and like stuff like that. So um, we definitely got to say that right there. But yeah, man, we just got to get it together. See if we can come out this week, regroup in a sense of humbling ourselves. And I love the word humble. Humble yourself with the confidence needed to go beat Vandy. Do that with respect. Respect your opponent because Vandy's going to come in here and Vandy's definitely going to be ready to play football next weekend against the Cats. And hopefully Alabama bruises them so bad that they come in limping and not ready to go. So, but you know what? I actually want to beat a healthy Vandy team. And if you know Vandy Chris, like I know him, that's why I say I don't want Kentucky to beat Vandy and these guys are limping in with injuries and everything. No, I want Vandy at full strength when we beat them. So Chris has nothing to say, but that's it. It's just keep it shut. So, hey, man, thank you guys so much for joining in. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome, man. If I do get Wi-Fi or if I do have good Wi-Fi where I'm going to be at in one of the three places that I'm going to be at, I would definitely just turn the camera on and maybe it won't play for me. Nobody. I'm not. What won't play for you? It won't play for me. This one is favorite ever. Nobody. You have to tell me what you mean. It won't play for me. I'm not sure what you mean, but thanks for joining in. I thank you too as well. But yeah, so some of the locations of where I'm going at. Um, I definitely, if I'm able to go live or just make some video and send it out, I definitely will do that. But once again, just throw this up right before I close. Um, The next possible live will be October the 10th, next weekend, going into the Vandy game, which is a Thursday night. There will be no Thursday night this week or no Tuesday of next week. But hopefully, with the Wi-Fi, if it's good, October the 10th, I will be able to go. Hey, Paul, thanks for joining in. I appreciate each one of you guys. Please go back and watch the replay if you can. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. It's really up to you. Thank you guys so much for the ones who do. I appreciate it. And until next time, go Cats and let's keep Vandy and let's keep the streak going. And kudos to the Cats for beating Ole Miss, the number 6 team in the nation, shutting them up, and let's move forward in a very productive way